now. Go ahead, Del.
Okay, well, aloha and thank you everyone for attending this afternoon's webinar on the Aloha Rotary points of contact. So as you all know, we have the International Convention coming to Hawaii in June of next year, 6th through 10th. And by way of just a quick overview of what to expect, this is a slide about Rotary in a nutshell, one macadamia nutshell to be exact. Hopefully we all know by now that the current sitting president of Rotary International is Mark Maloney, and his wife, Gay Maloney. Both have been to Hawaii. In fact, they're coming to Hawaii again next month in August, early August. This will be the last time they come to Hawaii before the convention, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Our theme for the 2020 convention is Aloha Rotary, which is a very apropos theme, I think, embracing the Aloha spirit and what have you that we have in Hawaii. And we're very fortunate, I think, to have Mark Maloney and Gay as the sitting Rotary International president and first lady, if you will, because he is a good old boy from Decatur, Alabama, an attorney who has, I think, truly embraced the Aloha spirit. For those of you who were at the Hamburg convention, it was a really fabulous convention, but you might have noticed that a lot of the entertainment was not German, although we were in Germany, but happened to be Bahamian. So we had Barry Rasslin, who was a sitting president from the Bahamas, promoting his nation, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but personally for me, when I was in Germany, I was actually hoping to see more German entertainment and what have you. Mark is not going to require that we have a bunch of Decatur, Alabama kind of entertainment. He has thoroughly embraced Hawaii. And in fact, just last week, Friday, we had a telephone conference where we're talking about the entertainment that we're planning to have for Hawaii. And he's looking at having maybe an Oli to begin with, having different hula halaus perform. And then for the closing ceremony, he's also talking about having Hawaii Aloha, which I thought was very special that he was willing to do that. Because one of the things he's done in the past is he sings the Irish blessing. And I think he's probably going to do that as well. But he made it a point to ask, is there something that we do here in Hawaii? And singing Hawaii Aloha is something that we do. We do this at football games. We do these things at our district conferences. In fact, I was just at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Centennial Park in Waikiki, and they did it then as well. Again, the convention is going to be 6 through 10, June 2020, at the Hawaii Convention Center. The Hilton Hawaiian Village is a secondary site. We have a beautiful convention center. Hopefully you've all had a chance to see it. If you haven't, I think you'll be very impressed with the facility, especially when compared to some of the facilities we've visited elsewhere around the world, which are amazing facilities. They're huge, but architecturally they're kind of boring. Ours is just actually the flip side. Ours is, I think, architecturally fabulous, but unfortunately it's very small. In fact, our entire convention center, the footprint could probably fit in the one room or hall that the House of Friendship was in Hamburg. I mean, just to kind of put things in perspective. So the Hilton Hawaiian Village is a secondary site. They're actually looking at maybe the possibility of a third site, depending on what the attendance is for the international convention. They looked at the Stan Sheriff Arena, and by the way, this is all kind of new stuff for everybody. They looked at the Stan Sheriff Arena last year and they nixed it. They're now actually reconsidering the possibility of going to the Stan Sheriff Arena so that they can avoid having a third site. We'll see what happens, but just be aware that we do have the Hawaii Convention Center as our primary site, and we do have meetings at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. There's a possibility that we might actually have a third venue to deal with, and that's going to affect us in terms of volunteers and a whole slew of other decisions that have to be made down the road. In terms of attendance, our budget number is 17,000. So presumably it's a break even at 17,000 attendees. We just received an update today, and the paid registrations is a little over 13,000 as of today. Including the unpaid registrations, we're now at 18,239. So that's the current registration. So we're getting up there. If we hit 22,000, that's when they start triggering the third site. Now, this is going to be a very family-friendly event. Mark is a very family-oriented person, and so is Gay. They're very wonderful people, actually, and so they've embraced that as well. That they've got an extended family, which I think we'll all get a chance to meet at some point. And he'd like to encourage people to bring their families to Hawaii, which I think is great for us here in Hawaii. So you'll notice in some of the events that we have planned, we're trying to target them to be family-oriented. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, in terms of structure, this is a presentation for our club points of contact, and you all are a part of the HOC, and you're very significant. We need you. You're very important. We can't express that enough. So I just kind of wanted to lay out kind of what the organizational structure is. So we have Rotary International, as you all know. And under Rotary International, we have a convention committee. So every year they have a new convention committee. And so we have a current convention committee for the 2020 convention. And then we also have a host organization committee. And this is the committee that's formed from the district or districts that host the convention. Hawaii is unique because most conventions are hosted by multiple districts. It's very rare that you have a convention that's supported by one district alone. We're that rare case, and it's just because, you know, we just have one district out here in the middle of nowhere, actually nowhere, in the middle of the Pacific, which is very significant. But it does add some complexities because we're such a small district putting on such a big event. We have a point of contact liaison, and unfortunately, the sitting point of contact liaison needed to bow out for some personal reasons. So we're actually in the process, and that just happened today, as a matter of fact, so it's fresh off the press. And so we'll be looking for a new person to do that. So if you happen to know anybody who would be good, please feel free to forward their name onto us. Please do so sooner than later. And just to let you know, my personal preference is to have someone from the neighbor islands. We have so many people on our committee that are from Oahu, and they're very talented people, but we also have very talented people on the neighbor islands. And because half of our clubs are on the neighbor islands, and we're dealing with the points of contact, half of whom are on the neighbor islands, I thought it would be really nice to have the liaison also be from the neighbor islands, sort of representing, if you will, our neighbor islands. Between the liaison and the club points of contact, we have island chairs. So we have two for each county, and they sort of they're not assistant governors, but the role that they serve is akin to an assistant governor, because rather than being like the point of contact and having 52 different people he or she is dealing with, that task is sort of the weight of that task is shared amongst other people as well. So we have two island chairs on each county, and together the liaison and the chairs will help the individual points of contact so that those individuals in the clubs get whatever information they need. And so, and within each club, all 52 clubs, we have a point of contact. So these are our island chairs. On Oahu, we have Dick May and Conrad Ike. On Kauai, we have Dick Olson and Pacific Governor Lori Yoshida. I think Dick's on the line. Thank you, Dick, for being here. On Maui, Lanai, we have Past District Governor Brad Bunn and Paige Fontaine. I believe Paige is here. So thank you, Paige, for being here as well. On Hawaii Island, we have Donna Hironaka and Wally Wong. I think Wally's online as well. Thank you, Wally, for being here as well. And if I didn't notice anybody else who is one of the island chairs, I apologize. And I appreciate your contribution. And of course, we have the club points of contact. You guys are the heroes as far as I'm concerned, because you guys play a very significant role in making sure that our clubs are well informed. And so we want to make sure that you have all the information you need. And if you have want for information at any point in time, I just want you to know, at least personally for myself, and I think I can speak on behalf of all the other committee chair people, that if you want information, if you need information, feel free to reach out to me directly if you need to. And certainly for some of the other committees, for example, be it volunteers, I'm sure Laura Steelquist would be more than happy to field whatever questions you might have directly. It's in the area of sponsorships. I know that Sonia Mendez would feel likewise, and so on and so forth. So as a point of contact, these are sort of the main things I think we're asking our points of contact to do. For example, club member awareness, just helping club members be aware that there is a convention, and not only is it coming, it's coming to Hawaii. So hopefully it's not a secret to anybody and a surprise to anybody, but you'll be surprised. It's the magic of 7. We figured we need to make sure that everyone hears the message at least 7 times to make sure that they get the message. So you're a part of that process. So thank you very much for doing that and being a part of that. Convention registration is also very important. The next increase in registration fees is going to be in the middle of December. The original promo rate is already done. That was only during the dates of the Hamburg convention. So we're now in the preliminary registration stage. So we're encouraging everybody, if you're coming, and hopefully everybody's going to come, to register as soon as possible and don't wait, because that registration fee keeps going up. And not only that, the current message we're getting is that at some point in time, although Rotary International, when they were here last year, they had a discussion on whether or not we should have a cap, because our convention center is relatively small compared to other facilities that Rotary International is accustomed to visiting. And the decision was to not have a cap. Well, after making that decision and looking at our physical plant, I think they're starting to revisit the idea of whether or not we'll impose a cap at some point in time down the road, because while Rotary doesn't like the idea of imposing a cap because of the message it sends, we are also very aware that we want to make sure that everybody who does come has a good experience, because if you have too many people in a cramped space, it's just not going to be good. So if we can't do it right, why do it at all? So we should keep that in mind, and we would encourage all of the District 5000 Rotarians to attend this particular convention and register as soon as possible to get the best rate. Frankly, it doesn't get any cheaper than this. And if you've never been to an international convention, what better convention to go to than one in your backyard? I mean, it's got to be the least expensive convention that we can attend, because we can avoid airfare if we're here on Oahu, and certainly the airfare to Oahu if we're on the neighbor islands is a lot less than what we just spent going to Hamburg, Germany, which was a fun time, but still it was not a cheap venture. So this is really a great opportunity, and not only that, we're the rock stars. People are coming to Hawaii from around the world to meet their friends from Rotary in general, but also to meet all of you, whether you realize it or not. I mean, they're coming to meet you because they want to get to know you. They want to get to know us. They want to get to know Hawaii. So you're ambassadors of Rotary, you're ambassadors of the state of Hawaii. Another thing that's important is donations and sponsorships. Sometimes I wonder why it is we did this, but we're into it. It's going to be a great convention, but this is not trying to put on a convention in Omaha, Nebraska. We don't necessarily need to oversell Hawaii, because people come here anyways because it's such a wonderful place. But we have expenses that, as a consequence, and frankly, I took these things for granted. I didn't realize prior to becoming involved in this particular event what an HOC has to go through to put on and to support a convention. For example, we have a website that has been actually at this point in time converted and translated into 6 different languages, supporting our volunteers, the events that we have to put on to help put a Hawaii flavor on a Hawaii convention, things like that, all involve expenses. So that's where the donations and sponsorships come into play. And then volunteers, volunteering yourself if you can, your family members, friends, and Laura Stilkos will talk about this just a bit more. And hospitality is something that we are asking each of the clubs to participate in, and as a club point of contact, you're helping to organize that as well. By the way, for all of these things, becoming the club point of contact, I just wanted to be very, very clear, doesn't mean you do this yourself. This is not necessarily your job. You're sort of managing this for your club and hopefully getting other people in the club to get involved as well, so that you're not doing this all yourself. Now, certainly if you want to, great, but that's not what we're asking. That's not what we expect. It takes a village to put this on, and so please, unless you have very broad shoulders, and some of you probably do, I wouldn't encourage you to do all this by yourself, but get the other people in your club involved. Make it fun, because it will be a lot of fun. And so for Island Hospitality, I think just prior to the start of this webinar, we were talking about Island Hospitality a bit. We can field further questions towards the end. But basically, hospitality, for those of you who might not be as familiar with it, is a tradition that occurs at the International Convention, where individual clubs within the area will host visitors that attend the convention, be they small groups or larger groups and what have you, and show them hospitality, show them an opportunity, give them an opportunity to experience the host culture. So for example, when we're in Germany, we got a chance to meet with people who are from Germany, from Hamburg, Germany, who created a dinner for us and what have you. When we're in Toronto, kind of the same thing, but it was in Canada. So there are variations on the theme. And the last thing I have here on my list is neighbor island greeters. For those of us on the neighbor islands, I recognize that not everyone is going to be able to go to the convention. It's just the reality of the situation. There are a multitude of reasons why that occurs. As much as we want everybody to come if they can, well, we want everyone to come if they can, the reality is not everyone's going to be able to do that. So for those of you who aren't able to come, or maybe it's for those of you who are coming, but while you're still on the neighbor islands, we would like you to be able to serve as greeters. We don't know how many people are going to be able to go to the neighbor islands from around the world, but we're hoping a lot of them do. We're going to try to capture that information, and if we know that someone's going to go, say, to Kauai, to Maui, to the Big Island, to wherever on the neighbor island, we'd like to share that information with the clubs in those areas. And if you have the ability to serve as greeters or have people serve as greeters to make that personal touch, we hope you'll do that. Now, in terms of our events, I think this slide is intended to discuss to highlight the distinction between Rotary International. I talked about that a little bit earlier. Rotary International will put on the convention itself for the most part, the programming, logistics, the speakers. They arrange the convention hotels. In our case, they're going to take care of all the House of Friendship activities, including booth sales. For the host organization committee, the HOC, we're responsible for the local flavor, if you will. So that includes our HOC events. And then we have volunteers, because we need volunteers to greet people here at the airport in Honolulu, to help direct people when they're at the convention center, to help direct people when they're at our events and what have you. And so in terms of the events, we have a couple Hawaiiana luncheon cruises on the Star of Honolulu, which will be kind of fun. They're 135 with transportation, or 115 without transportation. It's a great opportunity to meet new friends, and an opportunity to have a nice lunch buffet. The cruises start from Aloha Tower. They'll go to Diamond Head and back. The no transportation option is probably pretty good for us here in Honolulu, and because most of us have our own transportation. But also, whether you don't have your own car, some people might want to take a Biki bike, some people might want to take an Uber, some might want to just jump in with Laura Steelquist and Naomi Masuno when they go. So those are all different opportunities as well. So we have one on Friday. This is before the convention starts, and then we have one on Monday as well. Now this is of course during the convention, but the reality is not everyone is going to go to all of the sessions. In fact, I might add at this point in time that one of the things that is going to occur at this particular convention as well is that Mark wants to be destination conscious with it. Is that he doesn't want to buck the fact that this convention is in Hawaii, which is one of the most fabulous places in the world. So unlike some of the other conventions, we're going to try and start just a little bit earlier in the day and not go on as late in the day so that people will have their afternoons free. We have a sunrise walk for peace. This will be on Saturday, June 6, 2020 at Ala Moana Beach Park. It's a 5K walk. It'll be a lot of fun. We're encouraging people to bring their national dress. So expect to see road actors with their national flags, people wearing their national colors. For us in Hawaii, I don't know, maybe that just means an aloha shirt and roba slipa, but what have you. But this is going to be a family-friendly event. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun. We're planning to have some Hawaiian music as well. Something a little bit different than your typical 5K walk or even a 5K run. We have a cultural service project. One of the things that we wanted to do is give people an opportunity to experience something unique about Hawaiian culture in the way of a service project. And so we thought, what better opportunity than to actually participate in a project in a Hawaiian fish pond, which for me, I think is just absolutely fabulous. We have two opportunities, both on the windward side, Waikoloa Local and Heia Fish Pond. And actually, for some of us, we've already participated in some of these fish pond activities because Waikoloa Local is a fish pond that is operated by some Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Kaneohe, which is part of our Rotary family. I see Cheryl Parker smiling. Island hospitality. This is, as I mentioned earlier, a tradition. So all the clubs are encouraged, all the Oahu clubs are encouraged to partner with a neighbor island club and vice versa. The idea being that it's easier for the Oahu clubs to find a venue. Not that a neighbor island club has to partner with an Oahu club, just that we would encourage that to make it easier for everyone. And where these things are held, it really does run the gamut. It's whatever the clubs decide. Now, the reality is that these things end up getting subsidized by the club because traditionally what happens is that the amount that's charged is not an amount that necessarily covers the cost of the event. And so that's just sort of a contributions that the clubs end up making, I think. But it is a lot of fun. I've had the opportunity to go to a couple now, and I can see that the clubs that I've gotten to know really take pride in their events and showing the, in our case, it'd be aloha, but in their case, it's whatever it is that they have because they're so proud of the opportunity to express, you know, the whatever their local culture is. So, for example, in Hamburg, we went to a nature preserve that was used by the Rotary Club of Wedel, which is a little town just outside of Hamburg, Germany, actually. And it's used to give inner city kids an opportunity to see wildlife, which I thought was kind of cool. And they had a live owl and a falcon that they allowed us to see. They didn't allow us to touch it, though. In Toronto, we went to the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. Now, I understand that Jim and Beth Hobenhauer went to a salad bar, which is not so bad for Beth, but Jim Hoban, being a carnivore, devout carnivore, he was not really in his element. For us here in Hawaii, my club is going to go to the Elks Club, so it's got a lot of space there. I understand that the Rotary Club of Honolulu Pahana is looking at the Queen Emma Summer Garden, or Summer Palace, Summer Palace. And then you've got the small but mighty Rotary Club of Windward Sunrise, they are going to my law partner's house in Portlock. And when I found out about that, I thought, brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? What a great opportunity. So as you can see, they really do kind of run the gamut. So whatever the clubs decide, the one thing I would encourage us to consider doing is when we do that particular event is the kind of budget in your budget, a small lei or something. It doesn't have to be flowers. It can be a shell. It can be whatever. But I think it'd be kind of nice. And take your camera. I mean, this is a chance. These people are so excited to get to know us, and it's really a unique opportunity. I wish I had gone to more of those in the past. I think it's really a hidden gem in terms of traditional opportunities that occur at these conventions. And then we have our last event, our signature event, which is the Hawaiian Culture Night, which will be at the Waikiki Shell. This is shaping up to be a pretty cool event. The current lineup will include Nahoku Hano award-winning musicians, which we all know is kind of like the Grammy Awards, if you will, of music in Hawaii. And then we have halaus that have participated and placed in the Merry Monarch Festival, which is very cool. So this is shaping up to be a very nice event. The premium seating in the front is $150. But you know, on the lawn, it's only $25. So there's plenty of room. I think we have 8,000 seats available for this particular event. So I'm not worried about necessarily selling out on this one. I think it's going to be a fun time had by all. Sonia, do we have Sonia?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Aloha.
Aloha. Okay. Do you want me to talk about sponsorship? Or
Yeah,
were you just saying hi?
we have your slide up.
Okay, well, I don't have the slide, unfortunately. I'm just on my phone. But I can go ahead and talk about sponsorship.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So for the host organization committee, we have right now 8 people on our sponsorship team. And of course, we welcome any other Rotarians that would love to help us with this. Come join us if you'd like. Our goal is to raise $200,000 to $240,000. And every time that amount is mentioned, the first question that comes up is why. And as Dell had explained earlier, the HOC needs to put on all of these several events for our visiting Rotarians. So let me tell you what the levels are. We have what's called the Mahalo level, where we can accept donations anywhere from $50 all the way up to $5,999 without any vetting from Rotary International. So that can be companies, it can be individual Rotarians, and then we will gladly accept your payment, which either can be with a hard copy form that we can email to you, or you may be able to pay with credit card on our Rotary D5000 website. The next level up that we have is called a convention sponsor, and that's at the 6,000 Pikake level and the 10,000 Maile level. Now, this level requires vetting by RI, and as well the higher levels, which is at 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, and 200,000, vetting is required. Now, Rotary International requires us to get information on these potential companies and individuals. So this is what Rotary International requires that I submit to them on a form. Number 1, they would like the company name. Number 2, the business category. Number 3, the local headquarters location. Where is the local headquarters located? 4, do they have a corporate headquarters, and where is that location? Number 5, they want to know what is the geographic reach of this company? Is it local only, regional, or is it international? Number 6, they want to know, what is the sponsorship target? Is it 6,000? Is it 10,000? Etc. And this is the part that's really important. They want to know who is the warm lead to this company. So if it's, for example, Dale Green he submitted his company, Case Lombardi and Pettit. The lead obviously is Dale Green because he's part of that company. So that's what they want to know. They want to know, what is this relationship that you have with this company? Now, the absolute drop-dead deadline to submit any potential companies for vetting is Sunday, December 15. Now, that means we're not going to wait till December to send all of their information. If you have information on any companies that you think may be able to contribute to the convention, send this information to me right away, because what I'm doing on my end is I'm compiling a list on this form, and when I send it to RI, I'd like to be able to send them like 10 companies at a time, not just like 1 or 2, and then a few days later send 1 or 2, because while RI says they will vet as soon as possible, they can also take up to 2 weeks. And, we don't want them to take 2 weeks. So the more companies we can send them at one time, then the sooner we will get word on whether these companies have been vetted or not. Now, as I said, we do also accept contributions, anywhere from 25, 50 and up, and you can pay that online at our Rotary District 5000 website with your credit card. Now, we have a sponsorship Pauhana event that's happening on Wednesday, August 28th. It's going to be from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Waikiki Yacht Club. And this event is targeted specifically for the 6,000 level and higher. So this is targeted to the more high-end donors. There'll be a video presentation. We will be having a packet for everyone with all of the hard copies of what the rights and benefits are for all of the different sponsorship levels. We will have a beautiful upscale appetizer buffet. We will have cocktails. Now, if you bring in a 6,000 to a 10,000 vetted company, we would certainly like you to be present at this event with your company. I think, okay. We'd like you to be present for this August 28th event if possible.
We need somebody to mute their phone.
Okay.
Not
all right.
online.
Okay. Are we okay now?
Sonia, you're speaking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So Naomi is going to email me the updated list of all of our club points of contact, because last year in 2018, when we had a club point of contact, I did email what was on my list, information about sponsorship, but I think it's time for us to update the list, and we'll send it out to everybody again. Do we have any questions?
No questions for Sonia? Well, thank you, Sonia. That was great. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on. Unless do you want to add anything else, though, before we leave off of sponsorships and move over to volunteers?
No, I think I've given everybody the most important information is, as soon as I can get that updated list from Naomi, what the emails are, I will send you all the information that you know.
And
that you need to know.
We're going to share your email address, so you're also willing to field any questions directly people might have regarding sponsorships?
Yes, absolutely. And if you want, what I can do is I can also share with you the companies that were already vetted. I can send you a list of companies and individuals that were already vetted back in 2018. So you can look over this list and you go, oh, great, they're already vetted.
And how does that help us, Sonia? Because
Well,
because why?
Well, it's timing, because you won't have to wait 2 weeks now, up to 2 weeks now, to get an answer whether this company is going to be approved or not. You can start your magic on your potential sponsor right away.
They might be leads and be able to help us secure those sponsorships.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So that that affair at the Waikiki Yacht Club on the August 28th, can you explain that? That's for so you get more information on sponsorships. Can you explain it a little bit?
Okay, the sponsorship Pauhana, which is at the Waikiki Yacht Club, is geared towards the companies who have already been vetted that are being invited to this event so that we can secure them as sponsors. And at this event is where they will learn more about what the Rotary Convention is all about and why their involvement is very, very important for this convention, and what we can give back to them in return for their sponsorship money.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, Sonia. So we're going to move on now. Thank you. Laura, Hillquest volunteers.
I think you had one more question from someone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi,
Another question?
Hi, this is Paige on Maui.
Hi, Paige.
Hi, the sponsorship, what about for individual Rotarians that, we have one couple in our club that I know would probably donate a lot. So how does that work? Do they have to be vetted too, individuals?
No, I can send you what that would be. Are you saying that they would be below the 6,000 level? They're just at a Mahalo level, which is
No, I think
2,500.
I think the couple that's in our club, donates quite a lot to Rotary. So I think they probably donate more than $1,000. So,
Okay. Well, if they're at anything, Paige, where are you located? I'm sorry.
I'm Nikki at Wailea Club.
Oh, okay. All right. So you know what? Let me get you all the information, and then you tell me what their level is going to be at. And if they happen to be in Honolulu during the time of our sponsorship Pauhana, we would certainly welcome them with open arms.
Yeah, they're not due to come back to Maui until like October. They're
Okay.
not here full time. So, but yes, can you email me the information? Then I'll contact them.
Yep.
Or
Yes. As soon as I get that list from Naomi, we can send out all the information to all of you. And then, like Del said, if anybody has any other questions, just email me directly.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of individual Rotarians other than that would donate, to some point.
Okay. Any other questions for Sonia at this time? Well, thank you again, Sonia. That was very good.
Thank you.
Okay, all righty.
Laura, Hillquest, volunteer.
Yes, and I love the understatement of your slide. That slide, that is just absolutely beautiful. So there are lots of volunteers needed. Okay, any questions? Oh, sorry. I know there've been lots of questions about, we've been signing up on these pieces of paper and nothing is happening. It's because we're still identifying all of the areas where we'll need volunteers and what the shifts will be. Just basically an overview. We're going to need about 1,390 different 3-hour shifts. And that is what we are asking people to give, is a 3-hour shift out of the entire convention. Of course, you're welcome to spend more time, but we would like for all of our District 5000 Rotarians and Rotaractors and families, friends to jump in and donate, contribute at least 3 hours. And then that whole thing gets cut down to very, very small activities for each that any one person has to give. We have a volunteer committee that is comprised of, I'm going to see if, Dell, if I can get this slide up here. Is it okay for me to share this?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
Let me see if I can do that. Oh, now I got Dell. Oops.
Yeah, I stopped sharing, so you can share yours now, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to find it up there because, of course, Naomi told me, don't ever have more than things open than you want to share. Okay.
Laura, on the bottom?
Yep, I got my
Cursor?
PowerPoint up. Uh-huh.
Okay, so go to
sorry.
the bottom with your cursor and look for the green share button.
Yeah, I got that part. It's getting my file in there. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Because I had my file open, but it's not showing on the list of things. Anyway, I have an org chart, which, and maybe it's further down here. There it is, of course. This is the way it has been updated since this, but this is the beginnings of our volunteer committee organizational chart. What we are doing is we are breaking into areas. So we have training and recognition, who is going to be responsible for the volunteer manual, and Rick Golba on Kauai is already working on that. And then writing job descriptions and working on the cultural video, ordering the vests and hats, pins, and then telling everybody thank you. Then we have Transportation Hubs leader. And I don't know if you're aware, but there will probably be 5 transportation hubs at the convention center and the major hotels. So when Rotary International team comes out here in September, they will finalize that. But right now they're saying this is probably what's going to be happening. So at the convention center, at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, at the Sheraton Waikiki, at the Marriott, and at the Hilton Garden, whatever it used to be, Prince Kuhio. That's where people will be getting picked up for different things. So that question that you had about the host hospitality and pickups, right now it's in flux until after Rotary International gets here and makes all of these final decisions on transportation. Okay. But we're looking for some, Alan Kusunoki has just stepped in to be the overall hubs leader. So he is going to be looking for team leaders in each of these areas. And then Marianne Berry is going to be the lead person overseeing the activities at the convention center, which will be the guides mostly, and then helping Rotary International with whatever they want us to help them with in the House of Friendship in the event stage. And then also staffing the HOC office, which Dave Hamill will be in charge of. And then our recruitment leader is Christina Inoka. And we have put the Oahu Island chairs, we have kind of given you to her so that you can help her in recruiting people who want to come from neighbor islands to volunteer and help with the convention. Carly Himes and Zach Pashal on Maui have volunteered to help find housing, and less expensive housing and places to stay for those coming over from the neighbor islands. One of the options is the dorm space at Aloha Tower Marketplace. And Christy Hirota Schmidt and Jeff Pang from West Honolulu are heading that up. But we're going to need to know pretty quickly if people from the neighbor islands would like to come and would like to stay at those locations. So if you could contact Carly and Zach and let them know you're interested in staying somewhere other than one of the Waikiki hotels, let them know that and they will try to assist you. Okay. And then Christina's trying to recruit all of these people that are still missing. Okay. And then the special events leader is someone to just, again, oversee to make sure that each of the events is properly staffed. And then we will have a team leader at each one of the projects. So each of the luncheon cruises, which will be very minimal. And then the big event will be the Waikiki Shell. And then there may be some volunteer assistant requested for the 2 salt ponds, but it may just be on getting people onto the correct transportation places. And then helping out with the Walk for Peace. These people in charge of these areas are all going to be identifying volunteer needs and letting us know how many will be required at what times, at which point we will then put up the shifts on the website. The big one is our airport leader, and that's Wynn Shoneman has graciously volunteered to step into that. And this is probably the most critical part of all, because the thing that what we want us as volunteers to do is to make everyone who comes to Hawaii feel a special aloha spirit that they have not gotten at any other convention. And that starts with when you get off the airplane and you see someone there with a smiling, happy face who says aloha and greets you and helps you get to whatever you need to have happen next. Again, when the RI team comes out in September, they will be identifying where they're going to be having registrations, whether it's at the transportation hubs, whether it's at the airport, whether it's all of the above. Once we know that, we'll be able to identify a little bit more where they will be looking for volunteers. But it's really nice because, and then, I'm sorry, Hilton Hawaiian Village, as Dale mentioned, is a second site. That's where they're going to be having the luncheons and some of the breakout sessions. And so that will be mostly a greet and guide people, because anybody who's been to the Hilton lately, none of us can find our way around there. So it will be getting people to the right locations within the village. And then our administrative leader is Dave Hamill, and he has already put up the website, and he will be in charge of the HOC office, getting people in and out and making sure everybody has got their vests and their hats and their correct assignments and all of this. Our next big part is that shift identification and consolidation. Susan Sabo very graciously put up a Facebook page. We are looking for someone who will help to monitor the content on that. Dave is going to be working on our database of volunteers and the communications that we will be having with everybody. The nice thing about the way this is structured is the people who will be working at the convention center are supposed to be registered for the convention, which again, we want to encourage everybody possible to come to the convention, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to really, for a very small amount of money compared to what you usually spend, to have the opportunity to interact with Rotarians from around the world. But if you can't find it in yourself to register for the convention, all of these transportation hubs, the training, the special events, the airport, the Hilton Hawaiian Village, all of these can be staffed by people who are not registered. So we can reach out to community people, to family. Anybody under the age of 19 will have to be accompanied by an adult. but we can be really open. So we really want to open this up to and get as many of our local Rotarians involved. Remember, I told you we had about 1,390 shifts. We have, what, 1,600 Rotarians? So we're looking for 90 some odd % of participation. So think back to your last project, and did you have 90% participation? Anyway, we're going to bring as many people out as we possibly can and get everybody involved. The housing questions need to be answered rather quickly. I closed my thing, so I'm no longer sharing here, Dell, if you want to come back in. So that, you know, I've heard a lot of different questions that have come up, and I am happy to answer them. But if anybody has questions that you think the whole group might like to know, now is a great time that we can bring them up.
Laura, can you hear me okay? This is Cheryl.
Yes, I can.
Okay, this is Cheryl Parker. I already had some people ask me about, I love your chart. Are the point of contact people going to get the chart so we can send it off to our different clubs?
Yes, I will certainly. Dave Hamill is updating that chart because, as I say, I know we've added Alan Kusanogi, and we might have another one for the training to add in there. But he will put those people in along with their phone numbers and contact. And
that's great. And I see thank you, whoever just put up the.
That would be our wonderful Dell. Yes.
Thank you, Dell. I like all of those email addresses. Thank you.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. Again, there's a new volunteer form, hard copy form that you can volunteer. Oh, I'm sorry, most important part. Volunteers can sign up and go and be added to our website database, which is the best way to do it, by going to the HOC website and scrolling down to the bottom where it says volunteers. Or you can also, thank you very much to Eric's permission and Naomi's accomplishment, go to the D5000 website, and my goodness, there are volunteer buttons all over the place. It says volunteer here, volunteer here. So just feel free to click on any one of those and it will go in. And what you are doing is we're capturing your information. And it just has one, I think there's one slot up there that says you're going to work from 6 to 9 a.m. on June 5th or something like that. That's just to get you into the database. And then as soon as we put those 1,300 volunteer slots up, we will send out a communication to everyone where you can go in and select your individual shift that you want to do. And then at that point, your team leaders will be communicating with you as far as the requirements for this. Each one of those shifts will have job descriptions up. And the team leaders will be communicating with you to let you know all of the requirements. And then there will also be a cultural video so that everybody's kind of on the same page as far as understanding what Hawaii is and what Aloha really is. Because as we all know, a lot of people come in from particularly the mainland, but other parts in the world, thinking that Hawaii is the plastic skirts and coconut shells that they see on TV. So a little education as well.
Can you turn the TV off?
I have a question.
Yes, Laura.
I can't turn the TV on.
Okay, Laura, I can hear
I
you.
have a question about the greeters on the neighbor islands. It sounds like those are people that aren't going to be coming over, but some of the Rotarians that are coming to the convention want to go to the outer islands.
Yeah, well, the greeters, actually the idea of the greeters on the neighbor islands, it's not like, as Dale said, it's not limited to the people who are not coming to the convention. Again, the convention, our airport greeting is going to start on the Thursday before the convention. That's Thursday and Friday is mostly the airport greeting, the transportation hubs, the HOC office, right? One of the luncheon cruises is on Friday. Then Saturday, the House of Friendship opens up, and that's where most people come into the convention center, and that's where we'll need more of that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But what will happen is before the convention and after the convention, we know that there's lots of people who are very probably going to be going to neighbor islands either pre or post convention. And there are clubs who have people who have wanted to provide something special during that time outside of the convention times. And so for those, there's going to be a place on the HOC website where that information can be shared, that we can direct people who are going to neighbor islands, look on this page and see if there's something you want to do on the neighbor islands. And then you can just connect with them directly. The HOC volunteers will not be running those greeters. You will just, what we're trying to do is provide the information so that people coming and people on the islands can hook up with each other.
Laura?
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Laura, this is Naomi. So on September 8th,
Yes.
we'll have another webinar for volunteer duties and recruitment. So
Oh, sorry.
I think at that time we'll have more information after RI comes here as well. So maybe we can move on to some of the things that Dell has to finish up on.
Sorry, Dell.
Oh, that's okay. I think we probably need to be ending because we're kind of getting to that time. But let's maybe just run through some of these things real quickly. This is some additional information, addresses. For those of you who have not yet ordered your shirts, shirts are still available at 2020alohashirts.com. Ladies also have, in addition to the Mandarin collar, they have another style that they can select from, so please keep that in mind. We have a fundraiser coming up on August 10th at the Windward Community College. Mark Maloney and his wife Gabe will be here. Please come and get your paint on and sip. We have a fabulous silent auction also planned for this. Tickets are available online through the district website. Call to action, the points of contact in the club. You guys are subject matter experts. And if you're not quite there yet, we will make you subject matter experts. We're here to help you help your clubs. So please do not be bashful about reaching out to us. We're in this together. It takes a village. Thank you very much. Naomi? I think we're right on time.
Oh, one more question. You said the point of contact on our island is Paige on Maui, because I'm on Maui. So
Yes, Paige is our island rep, and Brad Bunn is the other island rep for the islands of Maui and Lanai.
And how do I get in touch with them?
And Paige is in the Rotary Club of Kihewailea. And I will get you her email address up here. Oh, no, I don't have her email address. I apologize. Reach out to us and we can get that to you. Actually, we'll get that to you. Email to any one of us and we'll get that.
I can probably get it. So
actually, that entire updated list of points of contact is going to be sent out, right?
Okay, great.
And
Thanks.
they'll put the island chairs on it.
Okay.
Is that it, Naomi?
Yes, that is it. Unless anyone else has any burning questions for Dell. We've got Dell and Laura and Sonia on the line. So
I have
the questions. Go ahead.
This is
Yeah,
Paige.
Paige?
On one of the days, it was a Thursday night, it was a hospitality night, and email was sent out to our club. So the question was, are the Rotarians going to the convention? What do you think they're going to do? Fly to the other outer islands for one night and then go back to Oahu for hospitality night on June 8th?
Sorry, Paige, what was the question?
The question is, what is the expectations, or what do you guys think that people will, most Rotarians will come out to the outer islands on June 8th for one night or one day, and then go back to the convention?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. What happens is that hospitality occurs at the convention. So all of those will occur on the island of Oahu,
Okay.
which is why we were encouraging the neighbor island clubs to partner with the Oahu clubs, because the Oahu clubs are here on Oahu. It's easier for them to find a venue for a suitable venue for a host hospitality event. Not necessarily true, but we just wanted to make it as easy as possible. They're not going to the neighbor islands. They all stay on Oahu.
Right.
And they leave generally from the convention center, someplace actually very close to the convention center.
Yeah. So somebody sent it out to our club. That's why. So people are
They
asking.
might have been mistaken. Well, they were definitely mistaken.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe
Which
you
is
could send that
why
over.
we're
yeah.
having this conversation, so that you are the subject matter expert along with the points of contact for the Maui clubs.
Paige,
Yes.
if I can get your email address, I will send you a copy of the FAQ, the frequently asked questions that we put together at the very beginning on the host hospitality night. It has basic information like when it is, what sort of things you want to do, where it has to be, like on Oahu, and how much of the registration money the clubs get. I'll forward that to you if you'll give me your email address.
It's a page at tiki.net.
Tiki, T-I-K-I?
Yep. Easy.
All right, thanks. I'll send it to you as soon as I get off of this thing.
Great.
Hey,
Thank you.
Liz, could you send it to all the POCs?
I don't have the list of all the POCs, but I will ask Naomi to do that because
Okay.
she does have the list.
All
Naomi,
right.
can you do that?
That sounds good. And Dale, you know what? One of the members from Honolulu Club asked me why she hasn't heard much about the volunteers and all that other stuff. So I would assume that the POC is in charge of that, disseminating the information to the clubs. So do all of the point of contacts know exactly what clubs that they are responsible for?
The point of contact is responsible for his or her own club.
That's
and then
it?
we have, yeah, that's it. And then you have the island representatives who sort of help the points of contact on the respective islands.
Oh, thank you for making my job easier.
Yeah, Cheryl, and if you'll let me know, just send me that information on the Honolulu Club person, and I'll get in touch with them and
Okay,
bring them up to
sounds good.
speed. Okay.
Yes, I will do that, Laura.
Thank you.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Rumi.
Nice to see you.
Okay, we're done. If you have any other questions, we have the email addresses and information on the slides. This is a recorded webinar, so we will have the link on the homepage of the district website in 2 days. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I had a comment. This is Paul Beerling. In terms of the question about more information, whether it's about volunteers or host hospitality or whatever the subject matter, I suspect others have done the same thing that I've done. I've sent a broadcast message out to all the program chairs on the island of Oahu. Well, actually, I've done it statewide, come to think of it, and said that I'm willing to come and speak about specifically the subject of host hospitality. But of course, I'm able to answer a few other questions as well. So the clubs have been contacted in terms of the opportunity to have us committee members visit their clubs.
And thank you, Paul, for volunteering to help us with those presentations on host hospitality.
You're welcome.
Can I say, it's what Del said earlier, it's that magic of 7. We have to tell everybody the same thing at least 7 times before it sinks in. It's just part of the job.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank
This
you.
was a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Aloha.
So Dale, we're going to be having these meetings once a month, right?
That is correct, once a month.
Okay, I think that's what I read somewhere. Okay, see you next month.
Hello.
Aloha.